This video is about the 2024 presidential elections in the USA, about the duel between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. The presidential election in the United States will take place on November 5, 2024. It is the 60th election for President and Vice President of the USA. The entire House of Representatives and a third of the Senate will be elected at the same time. To become president, a candidate needs at least 270 of the 538 electoral votes. The Democrats have nominated Kamala Harris as their presidential candidate, while the Republicans are sending former President Donald Trump into the race. The election is conducted indirectly by the Electoral College, whose members will elect the president and vice president in December 2024. The electors are determined in the states according to the majorities in the election. In most states, the candidate with the majority of votes receives all of the state's electors. The number of electors in a state corresponds to the number of its representatives in Congress, which overrepresents less populous states. There are a total of 538 electors, and the absolute majority is 270 votes. Historically, the Democratic and Republican parties have almost always provided the president since 1852. Candidates from both parties are also running in the 2024 election. Kamala Harris was nominated by the Democrats after the incumbent President Joe Biden withdrew his candidacy. Donald Trump is running again for the Republicans, having already been president from 2017 to 2021. Both parties have chosen their candidates through primaries. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the USA and has been nominated by the Democrats as their presidential candidate. She is running with the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, as vice presidential candidate. Harris was chosen as the candidate following the withdrawal of Joe Biden and received the support of the majority of her party's delegates. Should she win the election, she would be the first woman and the first person with African American and Asian roots to hold the office of U.S. President. Donald Trump, who was president from 2017 to 2021, is once again running as the Republican candidate. He has chosen James David Vance as his vice presidential candidate, which is unusual as he ran with Mike Pence in his first election. Trump would be the first president to be re-elected after a term break since Grover Cleveland in 1892. If he wins, he would be the oldest president to take office in U.S. history. The distribution of electors is based on the population of the federal states, which is determined every 10 years by the census. In 2024, the distribution will be applied for the first time after the 2020 census. States with a larger population have more electors, but each state has at least 3 electors. The capital, Washington, D.C., also has 3 electors, although it is not eligible to vote in Congress. This distribution can greatly influence the election results, as some states have a disproportionate number of electors. Swing states are states where the election outcome is unpredictable and can be won by both Democrats and Republicans. These states play a crucial role in the presidential election as they are often the deciding factor in which candidate receives the majority of electoral votes. In recent elections, states such as Florida, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin have been particularly contested. These states are expected to be the focus of the election campaign again in 2024. The 2024 election campaign will be conducted intensively by the candidates in order to convince voters in the decisive states. Kamala Harris is focusing on issues such as social justice, climate protection, and healthcare. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is focusing on economic growth, immigration control, and national security. Both candidates are using different media to spread their messages and mobilize their supporters. The campaign strategies will be decisive in determining who ultimately wins the majority of voters. The winner of the 2024 presidential election will be sworn in on January 20, 2025. On this day, the new president will officially take office and begin their 4-year term of office. The swearing-in ceremony traditionally takes place in front of the Capitol in Washington, D.C., and is accompanied by a solemn ceremony. In his inaugural address, the new president will outline the goals and priorities of his term of office. The swearing-in marks the beginning of a new era in American politics.